which has 192 posts members from posts from all over the world, and it is also part of PostEurop. Dr. Antonino will talk to us in his presentation. What is PostEurop? It is the union of public postal services, so we can understand where we belong as a company. And
well, first of all, thanks a lot, Aphrodite, it's really an honor to be with you and all the colleagues of NeWPOST. I cannot compete with the Greek of Margot. I can just tell you Eucharisto for inviting me. I see that it's an amazing educational program that you organize. Almost 280 participants, so I want to really congratulate with you and with your colleague for this excellent organization. And moreover also for thinking about Europe, because as you know, I really believe in the European Union. I am a sort of apologeta of the European Union. And it's always interesting to know and to do what we are doing in PostEurop, especially with you that more than colleagues, I consider friends, because we are almost daily working together for a lot of projects with different, of course, position. Your excellent work like chairwoman of the training working group, and of course, Margot for her CSR. So I am a lucky man. I am around me all nice colleagues, I mean, to work together. So if we can go on the slide that I can... Voila. So, and like you said, I will give you an overview about PostEurop, because I know that some of you, they know very well, but to have a really large audience, I think it's important to know what is going on also in Brussels. Like you said, and also I think was mentioned from the HR director, I took note, Mr. Tizzo Glow, about the ancient, let's say, time of post. And indeed, the Universal Postal Union was created almost more than 200 years ago, was in the 1874. And PostEurop, of course, is a restricted of Universal Postal Union. As you can see in the slide, we are 50 countries. Maybe my background, you can find also the logo of ELTA Post, of NeWPOST. And we are 53 postal operators. Let's say we represent the universal service provider. So just to be clear, it's not with us the Courier Express, so no FedEx, no UPS, but of course all the universal service providers. So you can say it's one country, one post, except in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where we have 3 postal operators. That is why we have 50 countries and 53 postal operators. What we do, basically, we do an external advocacy with the 2 our big organizations that are Universal Postal Union and the European Union, the European institution, European Commission. And on my area, of course, where I am in charge for PostEurop, is basically know-how exchange and develop projects. And of course, today, being an educational program and talking about new skill, the project that is the most indicate for this section was exactly the NeWPOST. And I will speak more in details about NeWPOST, but I would like also already to thanks AED, especially I saw that in the panel is the president of AED, for the excellent cooperation that we had in the NeWPOST consortium. They really had a very good contribute with the relevant trained materials. So I mean, really a big Eucharisto also to the excellent work that was made by Heide. Coming back to PostEurop is really a huge organization, 2 million of employees. If you if you do the sum of all the PostEurop members, you will see that we will reach that figures. We have almost 800 millions of consumers, and you can see that we manage 60 billions of items per year. It's something amazing. And when we invite during our projects up, and I remember we had in Safe Post, we invited the European Commission to come to your sorting center, where Hellenic Post made also another great contribution in security. I heard that before we were talking about security. And the Commission and all the external stakeholders, they were impressive to see our sorting center, how we are an industry, how we are managing items every day, and more due to this also situation of COVID and e-commerce. Next slide, please, Aphrodite. So here you can see, again, I also put some figures that are also, they have an impact, educational impact that you can keep with you. And you see all the PostEurop members, where we have full private PostEurop members like Deutsche Post, PostNL, Poste Italiane, La Poste, Group La Poste. They are on the stock exchange. And we have other posts like Russian Post, like Turkish Post, where they are still on public service. So it's not linked to the nature of the company. It can be full private or can be full public. The point is that he has to be the universal service provider. So that is all the membership of PostEurop. What is going on now? I mean, I try to update the COVID. Before was a great question from Aphrodite to Margot. What is the future of the post? Of course, with the COVID, not only the post, but all our society is changed. Maybe if it was not a COVID, I was more lucky and I was with you there today in Athens, in the beautiful Athens, to do this presentation. While the COVID changed our life, we are more going on the, let's say, digitalization, and was also Margot mentioned about this individualization and social cohesion. All these elements that they are a new change, a new challenge in our society. And how the post is reacting. Please, next slide. Next slide. Voila. What is the significant impact in terms? The customer behavior is changing because, like we said, now there is this lockdown, so everybody stays at home, and there is an explosion of e-commerce. Personally speaking, in the first period of the COVID, 1 year ago, when in Brussels was full lockdown, I was even ordering to the supermarket, the shopping, and there was the postman that was even in delivery. If you go in the Belgian Post website, you will see www.combo.be. It's a service that Belgian Post is doing. With the 10 euro, the postman bring to you even the shopping from the supermarket. This is something new. It's really a new service. Who could believe that one day the post was even delivery at home the shopping? This means on the impact on HR, because it's a new internal measurement, a reorganization of the workforce. It's a reorganization of operational. In the meantime, like Post, we are also the front line of the COVID. So there is also an exposure for our postmen to be in contact with all the society. So can be also an increase of the cost of this, slowdown of operation, and these are the challenge that we are facing, let's say, with this new situation of COVID. Next slide, please. What does it mean? It's also the good point. So far, we illustrate all the problem, but there is a return in volumes. Was 2 weeks ago that the CEO of Poste Italiane announced that for the first time in Italy, in the story of Poste Italiane, they made a profit of 210 billion of euro. And for the first time, the volumes of the parcel, the profit that was made with the volumes of the parcel was able to cover the gap of the decreasing of the letters, because we are always saying, okay, we have a huge decrease of the letters, of the volumes, and parcel, they cannot cover this decrease of the volumes. Well, for the first time in Italy, Poste Italiane was able to do that. So this is a new sign that maybe the COVID, it's a paradox, but from the threat and let's say weak point, is becoming also an opportunity for the postal sector, because in terms of volumes, there is an explosion of e-commerce. So, I mean, like Margot said, in the past, Poste Italiane was more bank and assurance, but I think now with the new management, with the new trend, is investing also in logistics. And I think at the end of the day, the post company are moving in the multi-service companies. I mean, who did not do, like, I mean, in the Nordic part of Europe, Post Denmark, for instance, when they had the tremendous decrease of the volumes, they were really in troubles, and at the end was the first merger between two post, the Swedish Post and Post Denmark, and that nowadays as Post Norden. So that is also effect of I would say, decreasing of the letters on the volumes. So next slide, please. So you can see then that at the end of the day, what we can say, that the post is a critical infrastructure. It's a part of critical infrastructure of our society, because we are, being a universal service provider, we are the skeleton of the state. And we are in touch with the citizen, with the community, with the local business, with the government and public administration. It's really who has the most, I would say, large link with all the society. And this is everywhere. It's all Europe. This is the structure. Next slide, please. So what we are doing, like I said, behind the last mile, we are delivering, but for instance, we are delivering also some service. We bring to all the people the medicine or the prescription of the doctor. So we are giving also government information. Even now with the COVID, some of the postal operator, they are delivering the vax. They are organizing the vaccination in some country. Like I mentioned, we are actually delivering food. We are delivering social security payments. And of course, this is also in the global structure of the digitalization, because all these services, they have to be linked to the new technology. And for this, there is a big investment of HR, because of course, the digitalization means also an efforts to educate and to improve also the skills of our employees. Next slide, please. Voila, and that is again the support that I said, that digitalization means to going online, to also be in touch not only with the old part of the society, but also with the young generation, because also is a target very important, are our customer. Next slide, please. What will be the long-term impact? Well, this, to be honest, when I was preparing the presentation, I was thinking about the usual approach to say that maybe the e-commerce volumes does not automatically compensate the losses of letter mail. But now I have to cancel this part and to say that 1 week ago, one of our members announced that this is possible. So I think that should be also an achievement, a target for all our PostEurop members. Of course, we have to say which kind of sustainability we will have in the financial burden of the post. And just to conclude this general presentation, also which are the regulatory challenge, because I see that we were talking about regulatory environment in this panel. So I was thinking to also include some slides regarding the general regulatory challenge in the post. We have, of course, the postal directive that we are working daily with the European Commission on that. We have the GDPR data protection, then was mentioned exactly about the security before in the presentation of the previous panelist. So it's absolutely linked to this data protection. And we have also the introduction of Union Custom Code that is a problem when the Commission is reducing this de minimis. Automatically there is an explosion of e-commerce coming from also China. Next slide, please. And you can see, in case you are interested, to have a strategic setup that we have done with the European Post. We create this PostEurop manifesto that we call it our motto, delivering a sustainable European Post. I just want really, I will not talk in details, but please do not hesitate to ask and to look on our website about this document, because it's really, really interesting, especially the 3 priority areas that are facilitating the single market, promoting the digital Europe, and supporting the sustainability. That is absolutely important that you will have a look. Voila, that's, you can also go ahead, Aphrodite, with this, the next slide. Voila, and now we arrive to the project, because I hope that I was able to give you this large introduction, what is going on, what is PostEurop, what is going on at European level, what is the trend, the general trend of the postal sector industry. And in order to be in line with all the challenge, we have to invest in training, in educational. And for this, we have also a big help for the European Union, because we have this program, we have the program that they finance our project. Also, Margot before mentioned the social dialogue project, and again, it's financed by the European Union. There are funding that they help the society, they help the PostEurop members, the people, the citizen, to improve on a daily basis their life. This was a project that was based on the Erasmus Plus program. We had 11 partners from all the Europe. We had also Bulgarian Post, Romanian Post, Hellenic Post, of course, the EIDE, the like partners, and was the partnership aims the scope to have this new VET curricula that should provide joint qualification in the postal sector. And I think we really succeed in this. We achieve an update and a comprehensive training curricula for postmen and for front office. We can say that we will work in order to fill this gap. Next slide, please. Next slide. So here you can see the results. We have 2 new joint curricula designed and implemented. We have what is very important is the first certification. We have PostEurop, that is, let's say, the certification organism. Of course, it's under the umbrella, let's say, of PostEurop, because this is made in cooperation with the ACME. And I can say here 100 postal service providers we have been trained with the new curricula, but being and watching now this huge audience of 280 people, I can tell that for sure we reach more and more than this target. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. And again, this was the challenge. The new digital competence for the postal employees and the new certification in order to have this balance and to anticipate and match labor market and skill needs, including, of course, all the transversal competencies and all the digital competencies. And this is absolutely important, especially for increase the opportunity of young people to provide them an adequate required skill. This was absolutely clear for the project and was a target, a very important target. And also, last but not least, to developing high-level skill for qualified and mobile workforce in the postal sector. And this, we really achieved that, and maybe I will invite you to the next big conference of NeWPOST. Will be really our pleasure to have you in order to listen, and when we will present all the results that we have produced. Many of those results, of course, you will feel, you will touch directly now in Hellenic Post, but it's also interesting, I think, for you to see what was implemented in Romania, what was implemented in Bulgaria, and somehow to have an overview of best practice, also what is going on in France, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, in Netherlands, in Belgium, and so on. Next slide. Here you can see the composition of the partnership that I spoke before. So if you can go to the next slide. This was very important because it's the expected impact that we have. We had two expected impact, one for the postal sector, but impact is not only for the postal sector, because when we increase the educational skill of our employees, automatically he has an impact also on the society. And indeed, if you have more digital skill, the people are using more the tools, the digital tool, and so there is an increasing of e-commerce across Europe. Like I said before, this increasing was also pushed by the COVID situation. There is also a proliferation of parcel delivery, because that is what's going on, but is also, this means that there is also an increasement of the money, I mean, of the GDP of the country, and that is absolutely also important. So next slide, please. So now we are going to close my at the end of my presentation. And I want to invite you also to continue to follow all the great work that we have done in NeWPOST. In all our talking about digitalization, we have to be also digital. So we are in the social media. We create a YouTube channel for NeWPOST. We create a Twitter for NeWPOST. We have a LinkedIn for NeWPOST, and we have also Facebook, in order really to achieve more wide audience, to have an immediate communication, and to create a sort of community building based on this topic that are absolutely important, not only at national level, but as you can see, also at European level. So next slide. So you can, yeah, that's are absolutely the benefits and the scope to increase the visibility. So, and to raise the awareness about all these VAT curricula, new occupational profile, and all these, how to say, topic. What we have done. So if you are Facebook users, please go on our page of NeWPOST and give us also suggestions, feedbacks, remarks. We are more than welcome, so please be in touch with us. We have Facebook, we have in the next slide, we have Twitter, so please do the same as well. We have LinkedIn. We target different social media because, as you know, the target is different and the people that they are using are totally different. We have YouTube for a larger group of people. And the last one, is our documents, the newsletter that we are producing, our press release, so that you can go on our website and to also receive this documentation to take. This is our website. Here I just put the slides that will remain you also like a tool for educational part. And I think we can conclude the presentation with this next slide. Voila, if you have a question, I thank you a lot for your attention. And again, really, Eucharisto, for this great invitation. I hope that I was able to give you a large overview what is going on in Brussels. And if you have a question, I will be more than happy to answer in English now. And I promise you, after the COVID, when we will organize something in Athens, I will try also in Greek.
Είναι κρίμα ούτως ή άλλως που δεν μπορούμε να τα πούμε με όλους διαζώσεις.
It is a pity that we can't talk to everyone physically present.
Yeah, I just try to listening the translation, if you can, because it did not arrive well.
Sorry?
The translation was not clear.
Είπα, να το
Can you hear the translation? Can you hear the translation?
Yes, now yes. Was I think you start to talk, but not the translation in the same time.
Your presentation was full of information, as always.
Thanks a lot.
Και να πω τους συναδέλφους που ρωτάνε από το chat ότι όλες...
I want to tell the colleagues who are asking on the chat that all the presentations from our event today will be uploaded on the platform.
I kept some of your keywords about the mail volumes that are falling, about the boost of e-commerce, which obliges actually all postal operators to develop new services.
Absolutely.
Not only digital, but what we also call proximity services.
Absolutely. It's the two slides where we write last mile and behind, sorry. That is absolutely this the point, because we are a multi-service company. So we are delivering, for instance, in being a universal service provider, you have a small rural area where the competitors, the Courier Express, they are not going, like UPS, FedEx. In the small village, I always made a joke that explain, in Italy you have three institutions in the smallest village. You have Carabinieri, you have the church, and you have the Poste Italiane office, the post office. And sometimes the small village, the old people, they need also medicine. They need, and the postman goes to the doctor, take the prescription, goes to the pharmacy, take the medicine, and bring to the older people. This service is already going in Italy. I know in Liguria it's €1 for prescription. I mean, what they are doing. So I fully agree with you. I mean, we are really the skeleton, the critical infrastructure of the society. We are the skeleton of the society, the body of the society. And then being the body of the society, we are connected everywhere, from the peripheric part with the central part. Everybody wants to go in the central part. I mean, in Milano, in Roma, in Athens, in Paris, in Brussels, and maybe nobody wants to go in the small village close to Salonico or, I don't know, a rural area of Greece. So I hope I answered to your question. I don't know if your colleagues, they have some question. I mean.
Θα συγκεντρώσουμε όλες τις
We
απορίες.
will gather all the questions at the end of the presentation,
Okay.
and we will address them to you. First, we have to move on to our last speaker today. Let me just add, like you said, Antonino, our colleagues can apply to the NeWPOST program, which ELTA is part of, and is addressed to colleagues who are working at the shops and the delivery. That a colleague who works at ELTA and another colleague who works at Bulgaria and Romania, having participated in this program, they receive a certificate which is acknowledged jointly in all these countries that participate in the program, and it also has a different status because it is under the umbrella of PostEurop. And it is always Hellenic Post. As you said, Antonino, ELTA is the first service in Greece who has received a COVID shield for its services, the first in Greece. We are the most, one of the most active companies for European projects, like you said, our strategic department, strategic development.